Well, we have learned so far on how do you calculate the area and perimeter of two-dimensional shapes, right? Now, in this tutorial, we are going to learn about how do you convert the units of measurement and why exactly should we care about this, right? Okay, so let's do this. Let's say this is the location of your house and this is the location of your friend's house. And there is a certain road that goes from point A to point B. Let's say this distance is 0.03 kilometers, right? Now, it is absolutely okay to show like this. But the problem is when you have distances shown like this in fractions or in decimals and the unit of measurement is kilometers, then it is sometimes a little bit hard to visualize, right? So rather you say that instead of showing that distance in kilometers, I am going to show that in meters, or I'm going to convert that into meters, right? And I know that 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. That is the ratio between these two units of measure, right? So when I use this ratio to convert this distance, which is currently in kilometers, into meters, right? Then I say that, well, I'll simply take that measurement and multiply that with 1000, which is the conversion factor, and this becomes 30 meters, right? Now, this is very easy to visualize that you convert it from kilometers to meters, right? And this distance, which was 0.03, becomes 30, right? So that's exactly what happens when you're converting a number from its higher unit of measurement to a smaller unit of measurement, right? This is what happens in the conversion. Well, the real objective is very simple. The number that we are trying to show, we want to pick a unit of measurement so that that number makes a little bit more sense. That's all, right? Now let's do this. Let's erase this and put some different numbers just to understand the importance of conversion or the importance of picking the right unit of measurement. All right. So let's say the distance between point A to point B is 12,000 meters. Now you'll say that this distance seems quite large, but is it really that much large? Because this 12,000 seems very large when you look at the number itself, but when you look at the unit of measurement of that number, then it gives you a very different perspective, right? Now, instead of meters, what if you convert that number into kilometers? So what is the conversion factor? We know that 1000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. Now what you do is you take this number 12,000 and then you multiply that with the conversion factor. And what is my conversion factor going from meters to kilometers? It's 1 over 1000 because 1000 meters is equal to 1 kilometers. That means 1 meter is equal to 1 over 1000. That's what is my conversion factor. Now this has been converted to kilometers, or you will say that, well, this is now 12 kilometers. Now, between these two numbers, let's say this is my first number and this is my second number. Which one of these two is slightly easier to show that distance? Is it 12,000 meters or is it 12 kilometers? Well, you will say that 12 kilometers seems very easy and comprehensible as compared to 12,000 meters, right? So we will rather pick that number. So the point is, which unit of measure you pick to represent your distance in case of linear measurement, that makes a lot of difference. And the conversion has to be taken accordingly, whether you go from a smaller unit of measurement to a larger, or you go from a larger to a smaller one. So let's utilize the same concept to convert the unit of measurements of area in the next example. So let's consider this example in which we have a square A. It has dimensions 1 foot long and 1 foot wide, right? So you will say that very simply the area of this square is 1 by 1, which is 1 square feet, right? As simple as that. Now, what we want to do is we want to convert this area, instead of being measured in square feet, we want to show that area in square inches, all right? So you will say that, well, this dimension, the one which is in feet, it can be converted to inches just like that. And by dividing this into 12 parts, the 12 equal parts, you obtain something like this, right? Where each block shows 1 inch. So you have converted that 1 foot, which is in length, to 12 inches. And likewise, you have converted the width from 1 foot to 12 inches. So how do you convert the area, which is in square feet, to square inches? What you do is you simply take your measurement, which is the area, and then you can individually convert each one of those into inches. So let's say this is my 12 inches because 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, right? And this is also 12 inches. Or in other words, this whole thing becomes 144 square inches. Very simple. You are taking those individual unit of measures and you are converting those into respective different unit of measures as appropriate, correct? So what exactly is the real need to go from this higher unit of measure to this lower unit of measure? Well, the answer lies in the control. It is that when we convert something which is in bigger unit of measurement, you have certain degree of accuracy. When you convert that into smaller unit of measurement, just like what we converted along the length and along the width, we are gaining a little bit more control because see, you can now measure each area to the higher precision level, which is in inches. That's exactly the purpose in this conversion. So let's take another example. Let's say there is a very large field, as large as, let's say, 35,000 square meters. Okay. Now this area, this field belongs to a farmer, and farmer says that, well, it is quite difficult for me to speak 35,000 square meters every single time when am I doing some shopping related to fertilizers or whatever we have, right? So rather he says that I want to convert this area into hectares. And we know that 1 hectare is equal to 10,000 square meters, right? That is the conversion between these two units of measure. Or conversely, you will say that 10,000 square meters is equal to 1 hectare, correct? So how would you convert this number into hectares? You will say that, well, simply 1 square meter is equal to 1 over 10,000, and this is in hectares. All you need to do is multiply that number, which is a 35,000, with the conversion factor, which is 1 over 10,000 in this case, and this converts to your relevant hectares. So what will be that? That will be 3.5 hectares. Now think about this, 35,000 square meters or 3.5 hectares. Which one is easier for you to pronounce? Because in this case, I'm not necessarily looking for precision. I'm looking for the area in general that I can use for variety of calculations, for such as how much water is required per hectare, how much fertilizer is required per hectare. So that is the whole objective, that why do we care about the units of measurement and going from smaller to larger or larger to smaller unit of measurement. So with that, we will take a pause here, and that's all about how do you convert between the units of measurement.